Hi, my name is Jay Schwan. I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about some of the issues around identity and access management as it relates to software as a service applications. Now, here at Solstice, we're big fans of the SaaS movement and cloud computing in general, but from an identity and access management from a security perspective, it introduces some new challenges, some new dynamics, and it really involves us having to go back to the basics to ensure that our organizations remain compliant and safe. The first issue is around deprovisioning. Since software as a service applications traditionally are available from any internet pipe, meaning you don't necessarily have to be on your company's VPN to access them, deprovisioning becomes that much more important. Because now they have users that shouldn't have access anymore because they've either been terminated or they're a contractor who's rolled off a project for your organization, still could potentially access information outside of your company's firewall. So it's all the more reasons why deprovisioning for software as a service applications really should be automated. If you're relying on emails or some sort of manual processes to ensure it's happening, chances are there's going to be holes in the process, or at least delays in removing access. The second issue to think about is administration. Now, software as a service applications typically come with their own administration utilities, and vendors do a real nice job of trying to make those administration tasks as user-friendly as possible. When I say administration in this sense, I mean users and the access rights that those users have. So, and the roles that those users have. So a lot of setup that has traditionally been handled by system administrators in enterprise environments, and then ultimately has been consolidated into identity management systems for companies that have a relatively mature identity management system. Sometimes that goes out the window when a SaaS product is introduced, and that responsibility gets delegated to the business. Now that's easy from a business perspective, but it introduces some risk from a company and a compliance standpoint. So the important thing is that you pick a SaaS application that's relatively open, that allows you to still use your centralized identity management system to manage provisioning access, to manage your roles, and then ideally integrate with that SaaS application, automatically integrate, I should say, or electronically integrate with that SaaS application to push or pull those access rights onto a user or off a user's identity. And so that gets into integration. And so too often we focus purely on the functionality of a software as a service app and how it serves the needs of the business without looking at if it's open enough and utilizes the same types of technology the organization uses for managing identities, so things like directory structures or LDAPs, or identity management systems in general. So hopefully if your IDM system is relatively open, it's going to support some level of the SAML protocol, 1 or 2, and you're going to hope that the SaaS application that you're integrating with supports that same standard to ensure open communication and federation of management of those identities. And then the fourth thing is audit and compliance. So organizations, particularly large ones that have regulatory bodies that are auditing them, have to keep stringent records of what type of actions are taking place on these different systems. As software as a service becomes a little bit more mainstream, more and more mission critical type activities are going to be happening in these external data centers. So it's important to still stay true to the policies that you've created for internal compliance and external compliance, and making sure that any relevant activities or any relevant access that's been granted or taken away is still fed back into a central audit and compliance system, so you can report holistically on what's going on with your organization. So most of the larger identity and access management vendors will help with facilitate a lot of this integration today, but it really starts with people and process and asking the questions and ensuring that we're not escaping from the standards that we put around ourselves to protect our company and to protect our people. So thank you for listening. I encourage you to use the comments to ask any follow-up questions or send any follow-up video responses.